Hi, welcome to Gigi's Altered Objects. I'm so excited to share all the new things and techniques and products that I found at the Great American Scrapbook Convention in Arlington, Texas. I just attended with three of the most creative, hilarious, and loving women, Sherry, Peggy, and Kathy. I can't wait until our next craft date. Can't wait to see you again. One of the altered objects that I made was this clipboard. I'm going to describe to you all the new things I learned, and I'm going to start with the background. So, of course, on the whole clipboard in each object, I covered it with gesso, and I chose to use the black gesso for this because it works for the altered object. And then this is a new to me paint. This paint is by Stamperia, and I used the black paint. These are two new items that I used. I stamp a lot, but I use many of the distressed inks, but this one is the Tim Holtz Picket Fence. It's a white, and this is one of the crackled stamps that Tim Holtz has, and I use that as well. So after that dried, and of course you have to dry between each layers, I started adding some wax. This is another brand new to me product. I learned this from a class that I had from Stamplistic. And this particular wax is called Gilders Painter's Wax. It's a turpentine-based wax, and one of the reasons, or a couple reasons that's important, is because you need to have ventilation when you use it. I also keep two separate brushes for the wax, or as actually if you're using three colors, three brushes, whatever. It doesn't clean off with water, and it does have a oily residue, so I keep those brushes separate from my gesso and my paint brushes. These waxes are wonderful. You can use them on absolutely anything, and in the class we didn't cover anything with gesso. They showed us how to use it on wood, they showed us how to use it on metal and paper. I always choose to use gesso because I'm going to use paint as well, but these are wonderful and new to me. So I mixed together the silver and the copper, and that's how I came up with this metallic that you see here. It's a little bit of the silver and a little bit of the copper, and then around the outside of the board you can see a little purple, and that is the damson that I use. So those are the three that I used on this product. I also got a rust one because I love to use rust. All right, now we're going to work up from the back, and I'm going to talk about a couple new things. This piece right here, this three-dimensional piece, this is from, I'm going to make sure I get her company right, this is from Cindy Crane, and I've mentioned her before. Her company's name is Miniature Luxuries and Paper. She used to be in miniatures, but now she's in paper crafting, and every time I see her, she teaches me so many new things. That wasn't even a class, that was just from visiting her booth. Let me show you these new wonderful molds. The one I used for this project is this one with the butterfly and the flower. Now, how this works is you spread with this medium that I was not familiar with until today, or until this weekend. It's called cream paste, and it dries like this. I have one ready to mold for you. So this one has a fleur-de-lis and music. It turns into a plaster, or no, more like a plastic product. And you just work around the edges. And actually on the one that I used already, I did go all the way around the outside, and I'm not going to do this whole thing for you. I don't want to use up all of our time doing that. But I just want to show you what the effect is when you unmold it. It is plastic and pliable and wonderful. You can paint it, you can ink it, you can wax it, you can do so many things with it. So this is the one that I used on the clipboard. And of course, I painted it with gesso and then the black, and I mixed the two waxes. When the waxes are mixed and dried, when they're dried, you just branish it with a cloth and it brings out the sheen to it. So this is one of the new products that I've used. Again, this is the cream paste and the wonderful new shallow molds. Again, those are by Miniature Luxuries and Papers. And I've shown you her molds before. These are the clear molds that I love so much because you can tell that your medium has gone all the way through. Now, not only did she teach me that, but she gave us the recipe on the back of her card for a resin instead of just using the paper clay that I use. Here's an example of the paper clay. I do have to add in right now that I have used some from the Dollar Tree. So this one is a Prima and it is wonderful. It actually shrinks a little more than the one from the dollar store and is a little harder to use. But you get less out of it, but it costs a lot more for this piece. Anyway, these molds are wonderful because you can tell that your medium has gone all the way to the bottom, so it's not a surprise whether or not it's going to turn out perfectly. Look how easy this unmolds. All right, I did this one 3 days ago and I left it in here so I could show you. That is how easy it unmolds, and when you look at it, it's perfect. Ready to be painted, inked, waxed, whatever it is you want to do. So thank you so much, Miss Cindy Crane, for showing me those new molds. So that is what I have here, and it's done in the same way, covered in wax. On the corner, this is one of Tim Holtz's metal objects, and it happened to be on sale, so I used it. I purchased that. But all of the rest I made from either the two molds that I got from Cindy. Now, at the bottom, this is a mold that I've showed you before, and this was made, and look at the effect. You can't tell any difference between the clay, the board, or the wax that I used. These were made from the hot wax gun in molds that I've shown you before, and this is another hot wax mold, and then a brad that I took the back of. So I want to make sure that you can see the whole thing. I'm not sure if it's all coming through. Turn the camera up a little. Maybe not. Nope, maybe not. I'm going to turn it sideways instead. There you go. So this is one of the fun projects I did while at the Great American Scrapbook Convention. I hope you enjoyed it and used these products. They're absolutely wonderful. Thank you and happy crafting.